Wadeo daro gura. Karikalo nung, pirikalo nung, narikalo nung. Wadeo daro gurad. Tachari guru go on mea. Niyingi bilima nandirita. Niyingi menawa ilalubu. Niyingi tanala janaba. Tachari guru. This is a beautiful Kaima. You might know her as the Georges River. This is our beautiful country here. We're here on Dharawal country. Although as I say Dharawal country, I recognise that it is also country and home to many, many other Aboriginal people. And while they may call her by many other names, like Darug, Eora, Gamarego, Goringai, Eora, Ewan, she's still our mother and our home, and we're all connected. So I am Shannon Foster, and I'm a Dharawal saltwater knowledge keeper. And I've brought you down here this afternoon to one of my favourite places in the whole wide world, and that is to beautiful Kaima, or Georges River. I've lived here all my life. In fact, before me, my family lived here, and before them, many, many generations of our family have lived here, going way back before colonisation, and were even mentioned in very early European notes. I gave you a welcome in one of our Dharawal Sydney languages, and in that welcome I mentioned that we are the Garigalo Nung, the Bidigalo Nung, and the Garigalo Natigalo Nung. And what those words mean are that we are saltwater people, and that's Garigalo, and we are Natigalo people, which is sweet water or fresh water. And I also said something about Bidigalo. So let me show you what I mean by that. So here we are. Here is beautiful Sydney, or Run, we know her as some places. Comes along like this. Here is the beautiful Garigalo saltwater ocean here. Beautiful, running all the way down the coast. So Garigalo means saltwater. Nung is people, saltwater people. The Garigalo enters into the country in different points. My family are from Gamay, Botany Bay. There's also an entry up here around Sydney Cove. That's the harbour. It goes down along to Parramatta River. And this Garigalo comes down through Gamay, Botany Bay, Guliari, Cooks River, comes up off the side, and Kaima, Georges River, continues on out to the west. Garigalo comes in here, saltwater comes in, freshwater falls and joins up here with the Garigalo. And where the two waters meet, Tukura is the word for two waters meeting. Where Tukura comes in, you have Bidigalo. And that's where we are right now, Bidigalo. Where saltwater and freshwater meet, Garigalo and Narigalo, you have bitter water, which is our swamplands, mud, brackish water, not sweet and not salty. I guess that's a little bit of a map of this country here. And this is where we are, kind of inland. Although you can find Bidigalo in around these areas. Wherever freshwater meets saltwater, wherever the two waters meet, Tukura, you will find mangroves and mud. It's beautiful, beautiful mud. Maluni we call it. and you'll find mangroves. You should go find some mangroves. So I guess for those of you who read my chapter, White Bread Dreaming, in Anita Heiss's anthology, Growing Up Aboriginal in Australia, you will know that I grew up in what has been come to know as the silent era of colonisation, where there was not a word spoken about Aboriginal people in all my schooling, not a word taught. Everybody just ignored who we are and what we are, and everyone just thought that the Sydney Aboriginal people were gone. But I guess you can kind of take this as a bit of a part 2, or what happened next. So what happened next? Well, we continued to live here on Kahima. That's number 1. We're still here. We didn't go anywhere, we didn't die out. We're still here. We're still enjoying these beautiful surroundings. I love this country I know so well. Gorgeous. Lots of warrigal greens, if you're so inclined. I'll tell you the stories of some of my favourite plants here. This is a real favourite here. This is Dalwa, the Casuarina. Casuarinas are amazing plants. They're so tough and they're so tolerant. I'm going to take you for a little walk and see if we can find a proper grove. A really good proper grove of Casuarina trees. Here's quite a few along here. They've got these funny little leaves. They're adapted leaves. They help them adapt to drought. See, they're really thin and skinny. These funny little leaves that drop like pine needles on the ground. And they cover the ground and don't let anything else grow around them. So they make a grove. Oh, looks like we've got some new plantings here. Some little Dianella. These will come out with beautiful purpley blueberries around Christmas time. This looks like it could be. Let's squish the leaves and see what they smell like. They don't have a very strong smell. So I'm thinking it's probably a G-bung, Pesunia, any of those. Got some hardened vergie here, the Happy Wanderer, Warraburunura. You can make tea out of these leaves. Very delicious. You can see here where the berries of the Dianella have come out just before Christmas, and then they've fallen off. But what I wanted to tell you about is Dalwa, the Casuarina. I'm just having a look to see. They've put in all these boardwalks and bits and pieces, so it's a bit harder to get to the water where I like to be. Okay. So I guess if I could say anything on my part 2 of White Bread Dreaming, is that I guess it's look after us. Be careful with us. It can be really, really tricky when you're working with Aboriginal people. I'm sure you've found out that it's no straightforward path, that our ways and beings, our epistemologies are very, very different to yours and to other cultures, and just as other cultures will be different to ours, and back so forth and back again. We should all be careful with each other. But I guess the Great Australian Silence meant that when people all of a sudden wanted to start listening to us and hearing our stories and our knowledges, we all got terribly excited. And we just said yes whenever and wherever we could. And we just signed up for everything. And when you're feeling vulnerable like that, and when you're in a position of recovering and healing, you can be taken advantage of. And you can face abuse in all sorts of different forms. And in a lot of ways, people from outside our culture may not necessarily notice that we are being abused in some way. But I guess for me, what happens is we go and we sign up to as many different things as we can, and then we realize that what we're really signing up for is something very different, and that we're really just signing up for crumbs off the table. And I think it's time for the crumbs off the table era to end. There's a beautiful dalwa. Oh, beautiful. These are delicious when they're ripe, if you ever come across them. Really, really yummy. Little jeeba. Petunia. Beautiful little fresh eucalypts. They're amazing for your memory. Oh, they smell so good. They're really good to help you remember. Knowledge keepers and storytellers will have them poked in their bands around their arms so that they can remember all the aspects of their story. It smells so good. So, yeah, I guess part 2 is be careful with us and be gentle, and we can do really good things together in collaboration with each other. But you have to remember that we're also being pushed and pulled in many different directions, and that we're trying to just do the best we can for everybody around. This beautiful tree. This is where I like to come, particularly if life is just getting too much. This is so much on at the moment. There's so much to say yes to, and at some point we've got to say no. So please understand if we can't do everything. Stay with us, persist with us. I know it's really exasperating. I know it can be really difficult trying to connect to community and to elders and to knowledge keepers and people out there. But don't give up. It's really worth it. It's really worth your while. I'm just going to take you down here to this little part of country that I especially love. There's a video online that you can watch, and it is of me creating the artwork for the city of Sydney. The artwork's called Nabagumal, Family and Friends. And it's taken just down in this section down here in a casuarina grove. And it's the perfect spot to tell the story of the casuarina or dalwa. When Europeans first came here, they called the casuarina the she oak, because they tried to work with the casuarina wood. It looked just like the oak that they'd had back in England that they could use to fix their boats. So they tried to fix their boats with this oak that they found, this casuarina wood. But they found it really, really hard, because it's an incredibly hard and tolerant wood. They found it really, really hard and almost impossible to work with. So they called it she oak, because it was useless to them. So if you hear anyone call a casuarina now, here's the casuarinas, a she oak, you correct them. They are not she oaks. And in fact, when you think about it, I guess they kind of do have a feminine quality. They are one of the tallest, most tolerant, toughest trees in the bush. So, you know what? Maybe I can cope with it being called a she oak. But that's not what the intention of the name was. So, they do have a very feminine energy. Here's the casuarina grove right here. You can see how the dropped needles don't allow for any other plants to grow around them. That's called allelopathy. Beautiful. These needles. They're amazing to help you start fires, keep yourself warm, cook your food. They're gorgeous. And in our stories, we call the casuarina Biddy. She's from Bidigalos. So, grandma country. Old lady country. And her name is Dalwa. And to us, she is a protector and a babysitter. And we tell our children that if you get lost out in the bush, you come and sit with Dalwa and she will look after you until we come in to get you. And we'll find you sitting amongst the Dalwa because there's clearings there, you can see. If you get lost in the bush, it's going to be very hard to find you amongst all the scrub. But here with Dalwa, you'll be safe. And under the Dalwa, the reptiles, the lizards and the snakes stay away because there's no protection here for them. There's no scrub, there's no undergrowth. So they'll leave you alone here. Now Dalwa drops these little seed pods you'll find everywhere. Here's a Dalwa. Yeah. These little seed pods. They're like dream catchers. So when our little ones wake up in the night worried and they've had a bad dream, we rub them between our hands and we blow on them 3 times. And we tell the bush spirits all of our nightmares, and they chase away the night spirits. And the little night spirits get their feet stuck in all the little holes of the Dalwa seed pod. And they're chased away by the bush spirits. They're completely reusable, incredibly sustainable. They are replenished the next day when the sun rises, and you can use them again the next night. Beautiful. This is the story of our beautiful biddy, our Dalwa. Now if you sit here under the Dalwa trees and a little breeze blows up and whispers through her funny adapted leaves, the sound of the wind through those leaves sounds just like the chattering of the grandmas and the aunties and the old ladies. You can hear them. Feel very quiet. The old ladies would sit here and tell stories while they made string. And they would make string by taking the inner bark of a tree and rolling it on their legs. And they would roll it so that it would twist. And they'd have to roll it against a very hairy leg. Mine's covered with denim. You rub it on your leg, the inner bark, and it twists to make string. The men used to do it back in the day, but they used to complain too much because it pulls the hairs of your legs out. And all these little needles left behind are the hairs from the old lady's legs. And so you twist and twist and twist the inner bark, and it makes string so that you can make yourself a dilly bag. Just like this one I'm making right now for the Museum of Sydney. I've made string, and then I make dilly bags. This is just one of the things we do. One of the many things. You can hear the cockatoos coming over. That's the country's little alarm clock to me to say that I've been talking for nearly 20 minutes and that's my time is up. Here they come. They're telling me it's time to stop, to let you all go on your Saturday afternoon. So Dajari Guru from here in Kaima, in amongst the Maluni, the beautiful mud lining the sandstone. Dajari Guru Gawaramia, thank you for remembering our ancestors. We are the Dubiara Ora, the forgotten ones. Nyingi Belima Nandirita. May you always see the beauty of this earth.